Hello, can you hear me? Audio and video is good. Let me know on the chat. Make sure this. Okay, thanks for everybody for coming in. Jake's, Miles, and Kia. So let me do the intro. Today it's just the last stream for the year, and I'm going to talk about the number one gadget of the year that I bought. And with that, let me get into the intro. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. This is Tech for Your Needs. Let's get it started. Repeat again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Tech for Your Needs. Welcome, everybody. If you're part of the replay crew, don't forget to hit the like button. Everybody, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Let me know if this is all working and everything's good. So I just want to make sure the audio and everything's good. I'm just waiting for some guests to come in. Let me hit up the guests. And hopefully everything's working cool. Fixing my cable because it's too long for my microphone. Not microphone, but headsets. This. So bear with me. Okay. Just making sure. All right. Give me a second. I forgot to do something. There you go. Now I'm back. I have forgot something. So thank you for everybody for coming in. And today's gonna be a chill stream. Gonna talk about tech of the year and stuff like that. Thanks everybody for coming in. Much appreciated. Just here kicking it back, just having a chat, and everything. So let me give it a format for the new year, how this gonna work my live streams. You already know that I committed to Monday at 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. o'clock is gonna be my live stream, but I'm doing 4 weeks, right? It's 4 weeks. So it's the first week. So it's gonna be 1 week yes, 1 week no. 1 week yes, 1 week no. So the first week I'm gonna do by myself. The second week, I'm going to do guests. The third week by myself. And the fourth guest. The reason I'm doing one stream by myself is just to force myself to get interact with my audience and be more better on the camera. Practice make perfect. So that's what I'm basically doing. And nothing big, just chilling, relaxing. I mean, how you're doing? How's your day? How's everything going, folks? I'm just waiting for some guests. Let me see if they're coming in. I let them know. I'm not sure when they're coming in, but they got the link. Let me make sure and resend the link again to that guest. Bear with me. Okay, I sent the link. Let me see if the person come in. So me back over here. So yeah, the year been good. I mean, I've been learning a lot. I just been taking it easy, you know. Just be grateful for this day and this time. Nothing is promised tomorrow, but we here and just let's have fun. Let's chill, have a good time. Anybody else want to come in? Just let me know. Just hit me up on my Twitter, and I'll send you the invite. It's open invite. So Miles, anybody, Jake, Kia want to come in? You're all welcome. So just waiting for my guests. So if you come in, so I don't know. So it says I'm alive 3 minutes for people watching. Thanks for everybody. So let's get into the main subject that y'all want to know. So most of y'all know what is my favorite tech of the year by now, but let me put this right here because I got it in my hands. Should I? Should I lift it up? Should I? Hi, sister. Hi, Barry. Should I? Whoa, 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 whoa! You're not ready. You're not ready to see my tech of the year. No, 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 no. Hey, hey, hey! I think I show you too much by now. You should guess. Lift it up. Bam! The iPad Pro 2020. and I love it. Let me open it. Highly, highly recommend it. And I recommend it because this is the I recommend when you buy this to make a decision. If you're the type of person that is you're on the move, hey, what's up, Professor Gaming? Welcome, welcome. So if you're planning to buy this or any tablet that is the iPad, and I recommend to get the cellular device if you're the type of person because this device is for numerous content creation people. It depending on the person. So I like to have connectivity everywhere that I go. I don't like to be confined. So, confinement. So that's why I decided I edit all my videos here with Lumia Fusion. It has been awesome. I've been learning a lot. I'm taking tutorial. It's fast. Let me see. I don't want it. It's fast as you see. I'm trying my best. And it's speedy. Had 120 refresh rate and it does what I need and more. You know, it does. It's strong on editing. I edit everything 4K, 24 frame. That I misquote the other day myself that I thought I had 30 in my camera. That's a shame, but enough of that. This device had helped me in numerous areas. This is good for the content creation, for the student, for the business person, for the illustrator. So it has a lot of use stuff. I got a deep brand skin, and I got a over here a cover for the camera, and also I got other accessories, but I got a video with that I did, so you could check that on my channel. And everything's cool. I like it. It's meet on my knees protected. So anybody want to join in? Let me know. Just hit me up at my Twitter is open invitation. I invited one person, but I don't know if that person is able to come. So I'm just looking in case anybody want to come in. So yeah. So it's fast, speedy. It does everything what I need. I mean, it's enough durable. I take in a bag. I be cautious, with everything. So I don't throw it around. I don't go crazy, flipping around. I use it. I got the magic keyboard and I also got the pencil. Those I put it away because I don't want to take away. This is just the main subject. And with those product enhancement and as a service is taken to the next level. It's a beast productivity. I mean, I love everything about it. No problem. It does all my needs and everything. So if you have yeah, Mile, hit me up in my Twitter, and I'll send you the link. So yeah, so that's what it is. I mean, I like it. It's very thin. It does everything what I need. I got a glass protector, so it's over. It's real protection. So I'm happy with it. As far as the camera, the lidar and everything, I haven't really used the camera. I just like twice. I mean, hey, if I need it's there. I mean, it's better to have it than not have it. So let me put this back over here. I don't want to drop it. I don't want to jinx myself. This is the case that I use all the time. I love this portfolio, and this is portfolio is from Spec. I bought it at Target. Pretty pricey, but it was worth it. I mean, I put this to the ringer, and it's still lesson. Okay, Mile, let me check because maybe I haven't added you. So let me see if I could find you. Give me a second, okay? Let me add a guess. Hey, how you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you, baby. Well,
Good. It was weird. StreamYard wouldn't let my camera or microphone or anything show up. Like there was nothing. Like the whole interface was blank when I went to go into it.
well, I had a glitch too. I had the camera glitch. It wouldn't.
I had to restart my computer to get it to kick everything out of memory, I guess, and then it worked. But
So give me a second. Take over for a minute because introduce yourself and talk a little bit. I'm gonna send the link to Miles Tech. Give me a second, okay?
my name is Michael Pepper of Michael Pepper Tech and Michael Pepper Tech Live. Good friends with Tech for Your Needs here, as well as many other amongst the tech community. Um, Started off about a year and a half ago, and things have kind of changed over time and started doing some live stuff. And you guys will, hopefully, if you're subscribed, and if you're not, go make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have some new things coming in the new year, as well as evolving my series that I have of live interviews of other creators called Creator Interviews, typical name to remember. And I really kind of started my channel because I had people helping me, just like many others started their channels because people were constantly asking them questions, and they got to the point where they're like, "Oh, we're just going to sit down and record," and eventually, be able to send those off to people. And if somebody else asks the same question, you can send them the link, and then it becomes your hobby. And for some people, it's become their career, and that's my eventual goal, is to hopefully make this into a career. I'd love to be able to bring kind of tech news into a new phase, and actually have a segment that's more like real news, but in the tech space. How are you doing, Luis?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just want to say thanks for everybody for coming in. Don't forget to hit the like button. While you at it, don't be scared to hit the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, thanks for everything. Much appreciated. Like I said, this is the last stream for the last year, and today I'm gonna open it. I usually do 1 hour. I'm gonna do an hour and 30 minutes because it's the last one, and I'm gonna just enjoy. I already talked about take of the year. That was my iPad. I don't know if you want to talk about it or your tech of the year. What is the tech that you purchased the
Got
most?
it. I did a short 2-minute video if anybody wants to check that out. I'm planning on doing a longer, extended, more in-depth version of each individual item that I picked. But I picked 3 things, and it was mainly the idea of things that I carry around every day. Um, so one was my new MacBook Air, the base model with the M1 processor. The other is my Pixel 5, and then the TicWatch Pro 3 GPS by Mobvoi. And I kind of picked those because of price point. So that's the cheapest MacBook you can buy. Uh, the watch, as far as everything that's included with the O2 sensors, the heart rate monitoring, the really good battery life, the price point really isn't found in other options, and it's a good alternative for people that don't have an iPhone in the Android world to get something. And just the battery life has been insane, 3 to 4 days, and I use it all the time, sending messages, notifications pumping through constantly, and checking my heart rate if I feel a little off, or my blood oxygen when I was sick. It came in really handy because instead of having to go out trying to send somebody to the store to get one of those sensors that goes on your finger, I could just use my watch. And yeah, I have an Apple Watch, but it's older, and to go spend $500-$600 on a Series 6 when this was $300, and the lovely people over at Mobvoi sent it out to me for review. But I would have bought one if they hadn't. Pixel 5, I kind of picked that because, yes, Samsung has the S20 FE. OnePlus has devices that, in that 600, 700, or in that 699 price point. But for me, I felt like the experience of it being simple and pure, I wish that Google had better advertising presence, and that people would give them an opportunity, because people say, the Pixel is like the iPhone of Android. I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree, because Google tends to add in functions and then bring them to previous models. So any device that can support Android 11 will get a lot of the features, a lot of the some of the camera features are mainly this year, and like the Pixel 4, just because of processor requirements and things like that. But I just feel like people hear pure Android or like the Pixel OS experience, and they think that it's boring and you don't get much. You get more than some other phones out there. There are cheap Motorola phones that use the Android One version of the operating system. I really like is if I get a call from a number I don't recognize, the call monitoring is awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes it'll pop up and it will go, we think this might be spam. Do you want us to just monitor it? And you click, so you don't even have to do it. It kind of understands and says, do you want to monitor or do you want to hang up? And then it reads to you what they're saying, and you can pick from selected response. And then comes to them in the whatever the voice of and says to them, hey, this person's using call monitoring. And if they keep going, then you can respond and say, okay, I'll call you back or whatever. And it's come in really handy. There's been times, not gonna lie, I've had family member call me and I was in the car and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to maintain signal long enough to keep this call. So I used that, and then and then they said, okay, I need this, and I could just hit real quick because I didn't have to worry about cutting in and out really. So
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Miles? What about you? What is your tech of the year?
iPhone 12.
Uh,
I just
what color?
blue.
Oh, okay.
I feel like coming from LCD to OLED is just so much better, especially in like lighter climates. For like the sun and everything, it just feels like you can see it better.
Yeah. So, are y'all doing anything special for the holidays or anything?
Nope.
Oh, I'm going to my aunt's house. He's just across the street, so it's 1 minute away. So it's gonna be like 5 people, the same people. We already got tested, so and I'm gonna get tested again. So tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing. Nothing big.
Hmm.
Yeah. So getting back. So the reason that I picked the iPad because the iPad personally have helped me a lot in different areas. You know what I mean? Personally, in my content creation, everything. I got it right here in this case, and that's the reason that I picked it. I mean, it got me a lot of gems, and I picked the it's a little model due to the reason that I like the flexibility, portability, and ease to move everywhere, not be confined to a Wi-Fi network. Yes, it's a little pricey, but it get me from A to point to B. I edit all my videos here. But Lumiere Fusion is one of the greatest apps. What else I could say? I don't know what else to say with this. This is very good. I don't know. I just like it. It's just my first tablet, my first iPad tablet, in my second, because the first one that I have it was a Samsung. The second one that came out it was 7 inch. So
Hmm.
so yeah. So y'all talking about changing the subject. I wanted to talk about the AirPod Pro Max, and I wanted to say something. I learned this through Viper live stream that they were talking about the price point, but I think the price point was put there for a reason. Some people say it's high and it's not high. It depends on your pocket. But if you put the price point lower and then you go up, people complain. If you put it up and you bring it down, then you could bring it down, like different price point, different tiers. From up, from going up is difficult. Coming up, down, then it's easier. Let me add this person.
What's good?
Hey, Alex.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. Yep. Anybody got any opinions on that?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that if you think about kind of like the iPhone 10 when that came out as being their phone to break that $1,000 price point, and they priced it at that. And then the next years, you saw them release lower price point of that same design, but taking away some things, and then they brought in higher price point and added features. I feel like that's exactly what they're going to do with this. And they have Beats. So the Beats lineup, the price point that it goes up to, they can't be too closely priced to that, or people will wonder like, oh, it can't be that, in my opinion, Beats aren't the best, but if they price it too close, then people are going to say, well, it can't be that much better than that. And if they price it too high, then people are going to say, well, I can get better sound from these or that. And if you look at other headphones, Sony, they have their 700 series is $400. Then they have higher end ones up from there even. The Bang & Olufsen has varying prices. What else? AKG has varying prices. They all have varying prices like that, but a lot of them to have a metal build, active noise cancellation, just those two things are the $500 to $600 and up price point. When you add in like the intelligent EQ functions and being able to and multiple microphones, more than like 2 or 3, the eight microphones that they have, you look at other companies and you're starting to get into like the $1,400-$1,500 price range.
No, yeah, that is true. So what you think about consumer buying this? Regular consumers.
If you have the money, I mean, I stopped doing price point stuff with any of my videos a long time ago. I'll mention how much it is, but I won't say, oh, I think it's bad for the price, or I think it's, if you have the money and that's what you want, buy it. I don't have any say over what you spend your money on. I could say, you know, that this isn't an alternative, but if you're looking for that particular product, you're not looking for an alternative. You're most likely you're saying, you know what, I'm in the Apple ecosystem. I'm looking for something that works well with that. It's just like people that buy Samsung Galaxy Buds because they like Samsung stuff. In my opinion, I have the regular Buds and then I have the Buds Plus. And in my opinion, they are average for sound quality. They're above average for battery life, but I feel like price-wise, you can get around that price, you can get much better options from other companies as far as that offer more EQ adjustments, active noise cancellation, and things like that. I mean, Soundcore released earbuds now that have active noise cancellation, but I don't like to do that comparison. What I'm saying is people that want Samsung are going to buy Samsung. People that want Apple are going to buy Apple. People that want LG are going to... And then there's the other companies. And there's people that just don't look at a particular company. They just want the best for that price. And Apple also has to market to everybody in a way. They have to find... So that's why they're not super bassy. They're more flat, because you can't have one set of headphones as your initial set and have them be too bass heavy or too high in the treble. They need to have something right in the middle.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
they
To
come
appeal
out
to
with that.
appeal
If you
everybody.
want bass thumpy, go buy yourself a pair of Beats,
Yeah,
or even, you know what, go if you want something plasticky that's bass heavy, that, you know, in my opinion, the Hash 3s, they're wireless. They get pretty good battery life. They're just about as cheap feeling as the Beats, but you're going to get them for way less price. And they're over the ear, so they're going to be in the line with like the Studios and the Studio 3s and stuff.
these are $80 headphones.
Yeah, or go with
Some Anchors,
That's
yeah.
what mine goes.
and they still hold up like Beats do.
But
Alex, what? Go ahead.
if you're looking at aluminum or, you know, and stainless steel like the AirPods Max, you're looking at $500 or more.
Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Alice, what is the tech of the year for you?
The tech of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I would say surprisingly. I mean, I'm not heavy into headphones or like that. Like I don't know. I wanted to get some because now I'm a content creator, so I wanted to get some so people can hear me more clear. You know, like you guys got the headsets and all that, and when I move into the new house, I have my little office area and get like the little, the setup you guys got. But I haven't really paid attention to that, bro. Like my channel's like based around phones. So if you're gonna ask me what's the tech of the year, I would have to say it's out of the iPhone 12 Pro and the Google Pixel 5 that got a lot better.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm trying to look for some headset. I mean, not to cut you off, tech for your needs. I've seen some decent ones. What you guys think about the skull candy ones?
I'm not sure because
Honest opinion. Honest opinion. Honest opinion. I want.
last time that I had their buds, it was just regular buds. I had it for like 3 years ago, so I can't say much because I haven't had new
No,
product.
because they got the new ones that are like over the ears, like the ones
I,
that you guys
I
got on right
have I had a pair of those.
now.
And I lost them, but I love those. I think they're good.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking about getting those.
I feel like if you can get a really good deal on them, because like I got the Hash 3s when they first came out,
Mhm.
but I got them for like $75, $80 at Meyer. They had one of those deals, and originally those were like $180 or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
then that's okay. But like I was using them and watching some YouTube before I came on, and the balance between the ears is not good at all, and I was starting to hurt my head, like they were getting too warm.
Oh wow.
So for long, if you're doing editing and long, I wouldn't, and I had to crank the volume up to get kind of clear in the voice. I
Yeah.
would recommend, I mean, they used to be good. Skull Candy used to be a really good company.
Yeah, used to.
But if you ask, for one, Jason T. Lewis, Painfully Honest Tech, he's an audio engineer. I've watched some other
Oh yeah,
channels
I'm
that are
subscribed.
audio engineers, and
Mhm.
they absolutely pound on Skull Candy because they changed so much. Because he had a pair of Skull Candies that he loved, and then they changed and they cheapened everything, so he won't go near them.
Oh, then
I would
maybe it
say
would have been a good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say if you're gonna invest and you're looking at spending whatever on a good pair of headphones, I would say, let's say like you have a certain amount of money that you have set aside right now. I would say if you can get by with what you have, save up until you can get at least the pair that you really want, because if you invest in a good pair, they'll last you a long time and you only have to do it once.
Great advice. Pay once, don't pay twice.
Yeah.
Because I
Take
made
down
that
this.
mistake. I spent like half the price, but I ended up spending 5 times as much because they only lasted, a much shorter time on certain things. And then I've had computers that have lasted me 10 years. So
Well, I found them at Ross, and it's the same ones that you're talking about, and they actually had them for $25 at Ross.
Wow.
Yeah.
you could grab them for that. I don't know that I would use them for editing necessarily. You could go find a pair of earbuds or like in-ear monitors at a pretty decent price that would give you a better experience and more isolating and uh, a better range as far as like the vocal range. And
Yeah.
if you're
Because I really
editing,
want them for live streaming, because I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I got an expensive computer, and I do not know how to edit on a computer. I do all my editing and everything on my cell phone, on my iPhone, and on my Pixel. I don't know how to edit. I think it would give me a migraine. I'm not even joking. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try though. I'm not gonna lie to you, to try to edit on the computer, because this is a gaming computer, and I just grabbed it because it was a deal. Is a Acer Nitro 5 gaming computer, i5 processor. And I just got it for live streaming. I don't game on here. I let my daughter play Roblox.
what
but
do you what do you use to edit on your phone? Like, do you use
uh
iMovie or?
Jesus, what is the name of this app? Let me tell you right now. What is the name of this app?
I used to
It's
use Power.
called CapCut.
Okay,
CapCut.
okay.
Okay, because I was gonna say if you want something that's pretty simple to use, like people use iMovie or they use Filmora
Mm-hmm.
on like their iPhone or not Filmora, LumaFusion on like their iPhone or their iPad. I would recommend looking at Filmora for your computer, because that's what I used until I got
Mm-hmm.
my MacBook. That's what I used because I have way too many computers, but they have a purpose for each of them. I built myself a computer for my birthday last year. It's
Gotcha.
got a 2700X and an RTX 2070 and 32 gigs of RAM, and I mean it's specced out.
That's what's up.
But that's what I used because for one, it's free And well, I paid to remove the watermarks or whatever, but there's ways around that. But anyways, even the paid version of it, I think was like $70 normally, but they do deals on it. But what I like is all the music that they include that's copyright free. Because some other software you really have to be careful with that because you'll get
coming
in
right there.
trouble. And Filmora is like it reminded me of using LumaFusion. Everything was really easy. The title transitions are in the presets for those, so you don't have to know how to set keyframes or anything like that. For somebody that's just starting out, if you've never edited anything ever, I would say it's easy. And if you've edited on your phone and you're transitioning to desktop, it's really easy too. And they use the same keyboard shortcuts as other software. So if you start using that and then you decide you want to go use Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, which is another good one. DaVinci Resolve is free, but it can be kind of complicated.
Yeah, that's complicated.
Especially to add titles. But the keyboard shortcuts like Control B to put a break in your clip is the same across everything, and other shortcuts are the same. So once you learn it in there, but it took me like 20 minutes and I had basically everything figured out at the layout and where everything was, and so I'd recommend it. And you can try the free version, and you don't have to worry about, because some of those software you download it and it won't even let you use it until you pay a subscription. There's no way of like knowing it if you like how it functions.
Huh.
And I like that you can do that. You get a little watermark on the bottom or whatever, but like it's
Yeah, I mean, when it's free, you can't. I'm sorry, Tech. When it's free, you can't really complain if it has, I guess, a watermark because it is free.
But if you Google Filmora 9 free or like remove watermark, I won't tell you how to do it, but there's videos that will tell you how to do it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And it's not illegal. It's just I don't want to talk about it because I don't want some company to be like, he's telling people how to get software for free and being mad.
Hey, Big John, how you doing? Yeah, so my next move is to learn my camera better because I was messing the other day on manual settings and I was lost because I was trying to play with the settings like ISOs and all that, and everything that I do it wasn't right. But I guess that's all in the practice and learning.
I'd say if you're gonna, for anybody who's using a camera for beginning learning how to do going from auto to manual stuff, use the priority modes. So use like aperture priority so you can set your depth, because then it's still semi-auto, but you'll learn how changing your aperture affects your image, your photos and your videos. Essentially, it affects depth of field. It affects the opening in the lens will affect how shallow or how deep your depth of field is, and obviously how much light is coming in and out. But the shutter speed then will adjust along with it. And then you can do the opposite and you can go into shutter speed priority, and that will let you understand as you slow it down. If you're photographing waterfalls, they get that nice smooth effect to them. If you speed it up, you can freeze things in motion. And then you can go from there, and now you understand how they individually work and put them together. And there's some pretty simple things of like rule of thumb. If you're out in the sunlight, there's the
ND filter.
Well, there's the rule of 60s. There's typical that if you're out in the sunlight, you don't want to go any lower than 1/60th of a second, and you can learn things pretty easily. I mean, I that was my major, 2 years in a photo program, and it's funny because of that whole time, it's really your first semester that you're really learning that, and it's not much of it that you're learning that because it doesn't take long. The rest of it's mainly learning color correction and how to edit and things like that. But the more affluent, I guess it is, that you become in using the camera, the less editing you end up having to do afterwards because you get it close in camera already. Videos, I won't touch. I usually set my camera to automatic in video, and people are like, what? I was like, yeah, but I understand how my camera works. And I'm sitting here in my studio space. I can control the light. So I can get my lighting so that my shutter speed and everything is at least 1/60th of a second because, I don't want it to look blurry and I don't want there any delay and I don't want any issues. And I know that my camera will balance things out really well.
Yeah, that was my problem. Because when I put it and I was messing with it, my hands wasn't, the motion was like weird, like jittery, and I wasn't manual. And I was like, but if I don't do it, I'm never gonna learn. I gotta force myself. You know what I mean? If you don't dive in, how you supposed to learn how to swim?
Yeah. So I would say with that, you need to be able to speed up your shutter speed, and so you need more light, so you got to open up your aperture, and so you got to go lower number with your aperture. So the f-stop, that is essentially it's the aperture diameter. It's the focal length over the aperture diameter. So it's to get that to that number. So the smaller the number, the more light you're letting in. The larger the number, it's closing down because you're increasing that ratio and letting less light in. So the smaller the number, the more light you're letting in with that. With shutter speed, it's this, it's the same thing. 1/60th, you're letting in more light than 1/30th or 1/15th. And so you got to learn, if you want to not have things be blurry, you need a faster shutter speed, and in exchange, you might need to open up the aperture and let more light in. And also increasing ISO. Some cameras you don't want to do that with because then you introduce noise if you're in a darker environment, because ISO is the sensitivity to the light. So you increase that, you also pose the risk of grain noise in the background. So I would open up the aperture and potentially lose some of that depth of field over introducing noise unless you really need that. But usually a slight change. If you're in a studio going from like f 4.8 to f 3.6, you're only changing by such a slight amount that you won't notice the depth of field, but you're letting a decent amount more light. And there's just things like that you can learn. I mean, I could probably talk about this for hours. We'd probably lose everybody though.
Well, for me, honestly, I mean, you talking to me, but I'm looking at you like, huh, because you saying it, but I can't produce it. Like I heard so much to talk on the rules. I know that I could recite the book, but it's not recite the book. How you do the book, the actual doing is my problem. You know what I mean?
That's why I always recommend, like, if you do those priority modes, it lets you learn one thing at a time, because essentially the camera looks at the scene and tries to balance it out and does the other for you. So when you're in an aperture priority, that means your aperture is what you control, and the shutter speed will automatically change. When you're in shutter priority, it's the opposite, and then you have full manual, which is essentially both combined.
Yeah,
But I would
you know,
never tell somebody to go full manual when they first get a camera if they've never. You're gonna be so lost and mad.
I had this camera since it came out, because as y'all know that I want to end a giveaway. So I was like, it's time. If I don't force myself, when it's already been like 3 or 4 years that I haven't. So I got to dive in. Can't be always a manual. I mean, autofocus. Anyway, so I'll be talking any subject. It's open. Y'all could talk about anything that is related to tech. Because like I said, this is my last live stream for the year, so I'm doing a 1 hour and 30 minutes. So y'all could talk about anything y'all want. The floor is open. The thing that I wanted to say, I would like to see how the auto industry tech is gonna move on from now on because we got Teslas and all that. That's another subject that I wanted to talk about.
I heard the Apple Car is coming out next year.
Yeah, I heard that, but I don't know. I got to see it to see it.
If you ask Prosser, he said that is not so.
Yeah.
That it's all the other people are. There's been people spreading it, but there was no like that was a joke. Somebody
Oh, okay.
somebody cropped in. You saw the photo where it was like Tim Cook standing by a car. Somebody did it as like a joke, and then other people were like, "Oh, they've been working on this." So they have so many projects that they've done that they do just for concept, and then they kill it. I mean, there's so many versions of an iPhone out there that never went into production. And sometimes they do it for patents because then they sell those rights to other companies to use and they make a bunch of money. I mean, Steve Jobs, when he died, he had over 400 patents in his name. They
Oh,
don't
wow.
use all those, but he made a bunch of money off from it. That's why he paid himself $1 a year. Other, Bill Gates did the same thing at Microsoft, and I'm sure Sundar Pichai does the same thing at Google and some of the different ones. I'm sure it's proof of concept because you can't produce everything that you can come up with necessarily. There's even a $1 trillion company like Apple doesn't have the time and the money to do that.
Yeah, that's true. You know what else I was thinking? I was thinking about that people are confused with the 5G because I'm talking about in general audience. I think it's only for cell phone, but 5G is more than cell phone. It's going to be for hospitals, different stuff and different outside of the mobile industry. But the mobile industry is the one that is advertising it for now. So people don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you're not tech savvy, you're not going to know about the subject.
And then people get confused because they have their 5 gigahertz home network and they get confused with that between that and 5G.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
if you look, a lot of times networks when they show up, when you set up a router, will show like 2.4 and it will say 2.4G and then it'll say 5G because and it won't have the HZ for hertz. And so people will get confused.
Huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't complain too much about 5G because it's at infancy. It's just, it's like a baby starting to crawl. So with time will get better. So I don't knock no company. Oh, this one is better than others. Now, if it's 3 years and above, then I'm gonna complain. If you're not up to par or getting better, you know what I mean, improving. Because right now,
Yeah.
the first 2 years, I do understand it's a growing pain, but after that, come on, you've been in the game. If you don't got spectrum, you haven't buy nothing, then that's your fault. You know what I mean?
Um, I think it's interesting because LTE is still in its infancy and is nowhere near what it was supposed to be. And
Mhm.
I don't know, there's just issue with that. And I hope that 5G can really do what they're expecting. And so far, it seems to be, at least in the areas where you get it. And they're expanding pretty rapidly compared to some of the other versions of. I mean, LTE really didn't change a ton from when it first came out to the end. I mean, added some speed, but there were still a lot of places that didn't get it. And if they did, it was slower than 3G was there before, and 3G got shut off by some carriers, so and will be. And I just hope that come the new year, as new people are put in charge and we have new head of the FCC, that will change. Because in 20 at the end of 2018 it was supposed to be that like 95% of the population was covered with speeds that were at least 25 megs or faster. And originally before that, that was supposed to be 50, but then these companies basically put out some money and said, "Hey, will you lower that so we can try to meet that?" And then they still didn't meet they cut the speeds in half for the requirements and still didn't meet it. I mean, I don't even know what the percentage of the population that actually gets even usable internet, and that's not even just cellular. You're talking about home internet. And I hope this improves because essentially with one 5G node, the coverage, the number of people in a small area is higher. The problem is the United States is spread over such a huge area. You know, our population is only what, just under 20% of the world's, or no, just under 5% of the world's population is in the United States, but land mass is a whole entire thing where you have some countries that are much smaller and have much higher population. For them, it's actually easier then because everybody's in such a small area. You don't have to put as much infrastructure. We're still
Yeah.
using technology that's 40 and 50 plus years old in the United States. I mean, you're talking about stuff was created back in the 50s. So
Yeah, that's what Alex does on his channel. He do five speed tests.
Yeah, I say it depends if you live in a big market or you don't, and that's where you have an advantage or a disadvantage. Because I'm part of the Philadelphia market where I live in New Jersey, and I get awesome speeds from T-Mobile and AT&T. Like I get 550 down and 100 up.
Wow.
So that's faster than people's internet. And then at home, I got fiber. I got Verizon Files. I get 940 down and 980 up. Symmetrical. So when you're part of big markets like Philadelphia, New York, where Tech for Unities lives at, Boston, these huge markets, Las Vegas, they're gonna put out the best. Now, when you live like where I used to live in Ohio, in a remote place, Ashtabula, Ohio, then they don't care about them over there, man. My speeds were way different with the carriers over there because they don't care about the infrastructure. Ashtabula wasn't part of a big market. It wasn't really close to Cleveland to be part of the Cleveland market.
I mean, where I live, we just finally got home internet speeds that can go up to 200 megs down and like 50 up offered around here, and they've been working on that for the last year. And then I think by next year they're hoping to bump it up to be able to offer 500 and gigabit around here. But you know, in a town where the total population is 2,500 people, but the square mileage, everybody's pretty much spread out. They're gonna go to the cities like Grand Rapids that has I don't know, 500,000 people in an area, so the same population exists on like one square block or whatever, and hit that, and as opposed to so they can hit more people first. So the small areas, the urban areas, get all that last, and we're the ones that need it because because we're still stuck in the slow speeds from the other. So
correct, from the other generation of technology, which that's true. Like I said, when I was living over there, I had HHPA plus. I didn't even have LTE on my phone. Like what?
But do you remember the days when 3G you could like stream Netflix on 3G?
Yes.
When LTE first came out, that's how it was because essentially everybody moved over to LTE. So I think really what's going to happen is because all these carriers are starting to offer mainly 5G, like T-Mobile is saying they're only going to offer 5G devices, like starting here and out pretty much. I mean, if you buy an unlocked device from another company, you can use it and stuff. And other companies, I think, are going to go that way too. And 2G and 3G are basically going to be gone. And LTE is going to be the new 3G. So your plans will be 5G, but then if you use up your data or you're in an area that doesn't get that, you'll be on LTE. And then you'll have everybody that will think it's so much better, so they're going to buy a new phone. So then LTE is going to be opened up, and we're going to actually be able to get the potential speeds on that we're supposed to get. Because LTE can get up to, I think it's 1.4 or 1.7 gig.
Yeah,
like
that's
up
what I'm
and
supposed
down.
to get. Yeah.
So, you can get speeds that people are talking about getting on 5G on LTE. It's too crowded. That's the other thing.
Right.
And so opening that up, and then 5G, I think because 5G can go up to 7.3 gig, but the real potential is higher density it will support. And so even if they can get it to, if you can get it to 5% of that, that would be fast. I mean, you're talking about 350, 360 megs each direction would be plenty for everybody. So
See, but
Yeah, but
you went. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, realistically speaking, though, gigabit speeds on your phone is going to be the millimeter wave. That's not going to be deployed everywhere. That's only going to be deployed in places where there's high people, like at a mall, like Jersey Gardens Mall. It's freaking huge. They even got a Tesla dealership on the second floor. That mall needs millimeter wave. You can fit up to 500 people, 500,000 people. Not even joking, in that mall. That's how huge it is. So in places like that, but what's more important and should be more important to people is mid-band. Mid-band is what N41 is. That's why at my house I get 500 down and 102 up inside the house. Millimeter wave cannot penetrate buildings. It cannot penetrate buildings. Mid-band has a longer reach. So mid-band, I like breaking it down like this. That's why people like comparing it when you were talking about the home internet, because I can compare the 5 gigahertz band to millimeter wave, right? And then my 2.4 gigahertz band to mid band, because it has a longer reach in my house than the 5 gigahertz band. But with the new Verizon router, my 5 gigahertz band goes all the way to the basement. My house has four floors, and it reaches all the way to the first floor, the basement. It reaches the 5 gigahertz band, and I'm still pulling like not the gigabit speeds, but I'm pulling like 150 down and like 200 up in my basement. So it's amazing, what the technology that Verizon is doing. Because I also found out that my router from Verizon, it's also compatible to turn it into a millimeter wave backhaul. So in the near future, they didn't lie. Verizon is really honest. That's what I appreciate about them. I told the girl, "Why are you giving me my router for free when I was paying $50 with Comcast?" And she said, "Because we're planning to use your router starting in 2021 for Verizon customers as a millimeter wave hotspot. So whoever's in front of your house and has Verizon wireless will get the speeds that you have of your internet."
yeah, so then you wouldn't get the data caps either.
Nope. I don't got no data caps. Trust me, bro. I already used. It don't even let me see how many gigs, but I know I have used ton of gigs. I've done ton of lives. My daughter has my smart TV downstairs is always on the internet. My daughter's smart TV's on the internet. My brother's TV, my mom's TV, my TV has the Apple TV. So and plus, live streaming. And then the phones when I'm doing updates or uploading videos, through the editing app and all that. That's all done through the fiber. Because if I'm gonna pay $192 a month, you best believe I'm gonna use more. I'm gonna get my money's worth out of Verizon. Shoot. So
That's not bad.
I wish everybody could get fiber at their house, because I know some people got to deal with Cox Cable, and you're limited to Comcast and all these companies that can't provide, symmetrical internet.
What sucks around here is, so we get WoW, and even at like the fastest, even at like the high end of the, even if they did have gigabit around here, they limit the maximum that their upload speeds go to is around 50.
Wow. That's bad.
Honestly, I would flip flop. Like right now, we just got upgraded from like it was 50 down and 5 up to 100 down and 10 up for the same price. I would take the opposite of that, in all honesty, because I can deal with like Netflix buffering to watch, but I would love to be able to upload a lot faster.
Right.
Oh my God. And imagine I that's hardwired right now. I'm connected to the Ethernet to my laptop, right? So imagine if I was to learn how to do the processing, like you said, on the editing on the computer, with me getting 980 up. Imagine how fast I would be able to load that video to YouTube.
Oh, crap.
It's just ridiculous.
That would be done when you would like click the button and it would pretty much be done. Because like I did a 2-minute video the other day, and I uploaded it on our internet here, and it was done in like I mean, it took like 30 seconds to upload, and that. So imagine like if you could do like a 10-minute video, and basically you'd click, and it would take, whatever, and it would be done. So
Download
So
a
yeah, I would say it
video,
would take
download a
seconds.
video game in 5 minutes.
Bro, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm telling you, fiber is amazing. I tell Verizon all the time. I was like, bro, why you guys don't try to expand to like the more urban areas? And they said the fiber is really expensive. It's true. It's like $500 for every quarter foot.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, fiber is really expensive.
once they install it, the cool thing is, so fiber is capable over just one of the filaments of transmitting speeds of up to 40 terabytes per second.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And that's only because that's the max frequency of the blue light that we have been able to figure out to transfer. And theoretically, so like way back, I think it was during World War II, there was a scientist who was studying potential speeds of transfer of over radio frequencies, and studying the transfer of data over light way back then, and the theoretical speeds that could go over fiber based off from that technology going way back then is crazy. Like it is 1.7 petabytes, which is
Wow.
Jesus, what is that?
1700 gigs. So 1.7 million megabytes per second, basically.
Wow.
That's not megabits, that's megabytes. So
Yeah,
multiply that by
megabytes.
8. So you're talking about was that 13.6
That
gigabit,
is
basically, or I guess that would be 1,000. Let's see, it'd be 13,600 gigabits, basically, would be like the comparison. So like, but they have to be able to do that because they can bring in one filament and run a whole neighborhood off from that one line potentially. That's the reason why it's at 40 terabytes right now, is because they will just split one line, and then when they bring in more houses, they'll connect, and it's all melted together. It's pretty awesome technology, but
Jeez.
Jesus, but who needs all that speed, bro?
Company.
Doesn't NASA have the fastest internet?
who needs the speeds? People that, so imagine you own a business,
Mhm.
and you need to be able to connect in real time to operate machinery from your house in case there's a breakdown at your factory.
Yeah,
If your
you're right.
factory and your home both have decent speeds, I mean, realistically, like 10, there's areas that offer 10 gig for about $200 a month, funny enough. And with that, if you had it at both ends, you're essentially working in live time. And in some aspects, the latency is so fast that it's actually fast. It would be considered faster than live. Like our eyes couldn't keep up with the latency.
Wow.
But that's good for medical purpose if you're doing operations and stuff like that. People don't think about those stuff either. It's just not like it depends what area and category you work in. But I see it for the medical industry, it's a good improvement. I want
No,
a
you're right
robot
about that.
operating me and dying on me in the middle of the operation that it can work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's ridiculously fast, bro. I remember Comcast wanted to give me those speeds, 10 gigs down and only 200 gigs up. I was like, that don't even make. I mean, 10 gigs down and 200 megs up. I was like, that don't even make any sense. And they wanted me to pay $300 a month for that.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
I
I was like, I don't need that. I'm not running a business for my house. Jesus, $300
yeah,
a
I'd
month.
save $100 a month and get gig up and down. And so, have you ever thought
That's
about
what I did.
putting in a mesh network at all?
Yeah, they was telling me to do that.
So I got a really, really good deal on this. Actually, a buddy of mine sold it to me, but I got the RS 7800X. It's the RS Max, and they
Mhm.
have a new one that's out now. But this one can handle up to 160 devices per hub, and I have one downstairs and one upstairs.
Mhm.
And we only have like 22 to 27 devices that are on the network at any time, and maybe 5 or 6 that are connected at one given time,
Mhm.
and actually using it. But I get our speeds, I get the 95 to 100 meg down and the 9 or 10 up speeds like everywhere in the house. So, and I can even go out almost all the way to the garage. I can't go in the garage because it's got a
Mhm.
metal door, and that's not. It doesn't matter what you do at that point; it's blocked.
Mhm.
And walk down the block a decent amount, and my speed's basically maintained. So with you, the advantage of that would be like you could have main one on like main level, and then put one on second, or main one, and then put like one on the second level and another on the, and they'll jump off from each other. So essentially, you could have one on each level,
Mhm.
and I just like because the way these work is there's a third band that essentially that is what it does the backhaul to communicate with
Mhm.
each other and forward the speed from one to the other. So that's why it doesn't matter which one our devices kind of are connected to, we get the same speeds. And these can handle up
Gotcha.
to, these ones that I got can handle up to, I think it's 3,500 megabytes each way, potentially. The newer ones can handle double that. I mean, so most people's home internet's not going to max it out, but and then the relay between each other, what I'm getting is 2.78 gigs. So that means essentially if I'm connected to this and then it's having to connect to the main, you're going to have a delay typically. Well, it's so fast that it's not noticeable. It's actually was better with this than our old router sitting downstairs directly to it latency wise. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And I
what y'all
plug into
think?
it upstairs, so
Yeah, I got a question for y'all. What y'all think? What is the tech that you expect for next year to be the most improved out of everything that we have? It could be cars, cell phones, anything.
Hmm.
For me, I heard that the iPad's gonna have something nano something. I'm not
check
sure.
micro LED.
Yeah.
So I think that if we get it, it will be the end of the year, and um that's if Samsung can fix some of the issues. So there was another company that actually released it was a laptop with a micro LED display, and they had so many issues with like pixel dying and some other not great quality things that are not supposed to happen with it. And that's kind of why we didn't see any of the TVs come out that were supposed to have it either. And so if they can improve that, which we know technology rapidly improves in such a short amount of time. I mean, it can change in just a matter of weeks to a month sometimes. And if you think about it, the technology that we use is behind what they're already thinking of. By the time it
True.
comes out, they've already come up with something substantially. I think it's going to be communications, and I think also increased AI and um, like remote computing,
Hmm.
online computing, cloud computing. I mean, I predict a future where, let's say, I need a device that can operate at really and process images and video at really, really high speeds, and you just need a device that can do basic versions of that. We would buy the same hardware, but it's the cloud computing. So I would pay a particular, I'd pay a set price to take advantage of computing in the cloud to be able to do that at faster speeds. And really the change in speed for hardware would be for local storage. So I can save some stuff local and, work on basic things. But I feel like we're going to get to the point where local hardware won't really be what they change. It will be offerings in the cloud as far as storage and computing. So you take photos and they're uploaded to the cloud because internet's super fast, and you edit it, and then instead of sending it to somebody and they download it, when you send it to them, essentially it links it to their cloud. And so they access it. So it'd be immediate because it's already in the cloud at your end. They would immediately have access to it in their cloud. And we're already seeing that. Apple kind of does that with iCloud and even iMessage. Most people don't realize that the reason why messages send so fast from iPhone to iPhone and even iPhone to Android devices is because, as far as photo messages and stuff, is because most of the people that are sending it that way, they've already uploaded it. So that's half the step done.
But you know, one thing that I was thinking about all this, the improvement for next year and the future, there's one thing area that the consumer wants, and they always scream for that, is battery. Because the battery life on I'm talking about phones, anything is not there yet. We don't have graphite or graphene. See, that's the only thing. If you have better battery life, then people tend to be, more productive, dependent.
I'm just thinking about how crazy that would be, because like last year when I had my iPhone 11 Pro Max, I got pretty good battery life. Like I could typically go away on like a 2 or 3 day weekend, and I used my iPhone for everything. But I would get like 16 to 18 hours of screen on time with that thing, unless I was live streaming, and then you can kill it in 5 hours. But that's a different story. But then to see like my MacBook getting the battery life that it's getting, doing the things that I do with it, I just can't imagine that if you were able to do what they're saying that they're able to do with like the gallium nitride technology, which is the hybrid graphene. That's actually what they use in chargers, but graphene batteries, being able to get 10 times the battery life out of the same capacity or more is huge. And really the substantial aspect of it is lower degradation. So right now, most devices, most lithium ion batteries have, they say it's about 1,000 charges, because it's 800 to 1,200. So the average in about 1,000 charges, your battery health will drop 20%. And so most people in 2 years, because even if you only did it once a day, that would be about 2.5 years. But most people there'll be times where they charge more than once a day their phone. And then after that, it gets even worse. So with this new stuff, the idea is that you could go 5 years or longer before you would start to see any noticeable, real substantial change. Be like 5% in that amount of time. So I think that's the huge advantage. And then you can keep your device longer, and because it's maintained that charge, the speed of it will be better, because essentially what these devices do is they'll throttle because you don't have the battery, rather than the battery die sooner. That's what a lot of them do. Whether they tell you that or not.
But let's break it down from the company perspective. If your battery lasts a lot, then the company won't sell the new device, because people will be like, okay, I can stay longer on the device and hold it and save money, and then 2 or 3 years. So I don't know if a company want to do that. I'm looking at the business side of it. You got to, because Apple, you tend to have the device 3 to 4 years. I mean, 3 to 5 years. But like you said, the battery, they do tricks so the person could have the battery last longer. But if the battery already lasts longer and you get the updates, that'll be a killer combination.
Maybe, because there will always be the people that were doing that anyways, because the battery life isn't great, so they just plug in more often, or they get the battery replaced, because it's cheaper to replace a battery than to buy a whole new phone or a whole new laptop usually, or they do it themselves. And then you're going to have the people that are going to buy often anyways. They're going to buy every year, whether that battery life stays or not, because they want some new function. And as we see, every company's doing this, for the most part, you have to have the new hardware to get some of the new camera functions or some of the other things. So that's how they entice people to buy new
Oh, that's
hardware.
true.
Then you have people like me that's like, well, as long as it can do what I need it to do, it's fine. And the other aspect of this is not only can you get better battery life out of the same size and same capacity battery, but you can get, if you can get 10 times the battery life out of the same size, then essentially you could make the battery 1/10 of its size and have the same battery life. So if you want to make a smaller device that has really good battery life, you could have, if you think about it, if you have a laptop like the MacBook Air that can get, anywhere from, depending on what you're doing, the lowest I've had was about 12 hours, all the way up to 18 hours of battery, then you could make a device that can get that same battery life at 1/10 of the size of the battery, or double the battery life at 1/5 of the size of the battery. Then you're talking about putting that computing power into something smaller and then improving the computer or battery power of something bigger. So there's both methods that will be used.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. But I just think why. I mean, from my personal opinion, I just think that everything is advancing rapidly, but the battery technology is not. I wonder why. Because everybody complains. That's the most complaint in anything. It could be regular double A battery, could be a cell phone battery, car battery. Everybody complain in that area. So I wonder why that area is not improved.
I mean, what the Pixel small, and they put a 4080 amp battery. This
Hmm.
battery is lovely, lovely, lovely. I could take it off the charger. My God, even with the new update on the iPhone, my 12 Pro, I took it off the charger last night at 11 o'clock at night, and it didn't die till today at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was watching video, editing video, making video, and then the Pixel's just a beast because it's a smaller phone with a bigger battery, and it could seriously last 2 days without charging.
I
2 days.
took my Pixel has been off 21 hours ago, and ambient display was 17
Yeah,
hours and 2 minutes
for
of
sure.
that. And I used Twitter,
I don't know how to check
YouTube,
that.
Chrome, Telegram, Facebook, other things. I have 51% battery left with 3 hours and 36 minutes of usage. So I'll get about 7 hours, and that's the worst I've gotten. And that's because I was doing things like taking photos and but usually I get, and it's been off the charger for a long time. Their standby time is like the best of any. And
Yes, bro.
that's where people don't get it too, is like, so if you can make it so that the device doesn't use much battery and can be off, so you know you use your phone, and at the end of the night it's at 60% charge. You took it off the bat. Let's say you took it off the charger at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock at night, and it's at 60% charge. You set it next to the bed. If you wake up in the morning and let's say it's at 55%, that means you can go a whole other day, and you still should end the night with like 15 to 20%. But a lot of phones drop. My Samsung phones, I've seen them drop 15%, 20% without me even using them at night with do not
Yeah.
disturb mode on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Right.
sitting there. What does it do? Like, then like the Pixel is, compared to iPhones that I've had, will drop 1, 2, 3% in like 10, 12 hours overnight sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
My MacBook, I took it off the charger the one night, like 10 o'clock at night, and I put it down next to the bed. And when I woke up in the morning and went to use it at like 7:30, it hadn't even
Mm-hmm.
dropped a percentage. And so that's huge. Like people think about, I think people need to think about that standby time, because if it drops 10%, but let's say you normally get 10 hours of screen on time, that's an hour of usage you didn't get out of your device, and it was just sitting there doing nothing, basically.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, because right now, right, I took my Pixel 5. I don't know which one you got. I got the Pixel 5, the
Yeah,
sort of
that's what I
Sage.
have to.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, but you got the black version of it. Yeah. I took mine off the charger today at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I've been using it and, going on YouTube and stuff, and it just dropped 10%, and it's 8:15 right now, and it's at 90%. It's at 90%. I don't care. I'm in the room.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm at 90%.
That's the other crazy thing to me. I don't know if you've noticed that being on, if you're on 5G or LTE versus Wi-Fi, is not as substantial difference on battery life as other phones. At least for me, it hasn't been. Like some phones, if I'm on Wi-Fi, it doubles my battery life. But like this, it might be a
Oh,
10%
you're right.
difference.
You're right. My battery lasts longer on my iPhone when it's on Wi-Fi than on the AT&T 5G. And this one, it doesn't matter whether I'm on Metro 5G, which is basically T-Mobile 5G, or my Wi-Fi. I don't see no battery difference. And it charges the same way, the same fast. Like with my iPhone, it'll charge faster when I have it on Wi-Fi than when I have it on actual 5G. And this one, it doesn't matter whether it's on Wi-Fi or 5G, it's still fast. It still charges fast.
It's so this is my first experience with a Pixel flagship. Basically, I had the 3A XL, and my wife hated it, so we gave it to my son. But this was my first, and I don't know. I don't know that I'll really use. I haven't used my Fold or my Note 20 Ultra much since I got this thing. Think about that. A phone that's like a third of the cost, half of the cost of those other things. And I haven't used the case. And I've dropped it like 3 times and it hasn't even left a mark on it. I dropped it on tile. I've dropped it on not very high, but I've dropped other phones and had them crack. And what's really funny though is you know how they talked about how like the MagSafe charger will work with the Pixel 5? I figured out that the magnets that are on the back of the Fold will also attract and like hold the Pixel in place. So if you use reverse wireless charging, it will hold it there. It does the same thing with my AirPods. But anyways, I just love, I don't know, there's something about it. Like people think that the texture feels cheap or feels weird. I like it.
I like it. It's like a grainy feeling.
It feels like a stone. Like, you go to
like
the
sandpaper,
like a soft stone from a beach or something, and it's, I don't know, or like a fabric.
Like OnePlus, the OnePlus, the first one.
I never had a OnePlus, so I can't answer that for you.
I don't think you would be able to tell that I've used it. I mean, not really, other than the fingerprints all over the screen. But
you don't put a case on it though? I got the speaking case on mine.
I was going to buy a case, but
I got the same.
I mean, I'm usually really careful with my phone. So.
Oh, you got an Apple thingy sticker?
Yeah, because since
I have this case of fuchsia, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I was gonna try those. I told you I was gonna get the camouflage one. Remember?
Yeah, that's the one everybody uses.
Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna get for this one for the 12 Pro. But I got the same case on both of my phones.
I'm the
person that prefers a device. I would prefer to have a device that charges, it takes twice the time to charge if the thing's going to last 2 to 3 times longer on a charge. Like I would much prefer like an 18-watt charger for a phone than like a 25 or 40-watt charger if my phone can last longer, because essentially if the phone can last longer, I'm not having to charge it as often, so the battery health is going to maintain. And who cares? If it can last all day or 2 days and I can plug it in at night when I'm asleep, who cares if it can charge? If it takes 2.5 hours to charge, or if it takes 40 minutes on another device or whatever. I'm asleep. Who cares? Like I'd rather have it last longer. And the
That's
battery
what I got.
health maintained then ridiculously fast, like this 120-watt charging. I'm like, who needs that?
Yeah, I want to put that. I want to trust that on my phone. I used the Anchor 18-watt charger. That's what I use on my iPhone because this one didn't come. The 12 doesn't come with the brick, so I bought the Anchor from Walmart, and I got it on sale for $13, and it's really good. It charges up fast. And then this one is an 18-watt charger on the Pixel, the charger that
Yeah.
Google sends you.
I use I use the same charger for everything now. So
I mean, yeah, it is USB Type C, so you could plug it up and charge your iPhone too. So yeah, you're right.
I
That's
use
the good advantage.
I use
USB Type C.
I charge my Pixel or my Note or my Fold with my MacBook charger because it's a 30-watt, and
Yeah,
it's faster than. And what's weird to me is Samsung's really picky with their chargers. Like they'll be really picky. Like you'll get normal charging or slow charging if you don't pick just the right.
yeah, that's
But
stupid. That
but
don't
the
make
Apple
sense to me.
charger charges it fast. It's weird to me.
That's
But
because
like,
they let all the wattage come out, and it also depends on your cable, bro. Because I bought a iHome 6 watt charger. I mean, the cable to plug it up
Mhm.
to the brick, and it lets it. When I read the fine print on Amazon, because I buy everything on Amazon, it shows that it lets the whole 18 watts flow through the charger with no problems. It's not gonna have no short outs or anything.
yeah.
So that's what I love
Well,
about that.
so a lot of companies, Apple and Google and like some other, they all use the USB PD, the power delivery, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Samsung uses what's called like PSS,
Mm.
but apparently Apple's MacBook chargers support both protocols, so it worked. I was just surprised because like OnePlus, you have to use their charger.
Yeah.
Their charger won't work with a Samsung, and and you can swap the cables around. You can use the OnePlus cable with the Samsung charger, and it won't work. And you can use the Samsung. You have to use their charger, their cable, most of the time. And I was
Um,
just shook. I was like, this works with everything, and it fast charges. Except
I can't
for
wait
my
to
wife's 7T, but like I said, OnePlus is picky.
I can't wait for Apple to go USB. That's gonna be awesome. I hope they budge and they go USB on the iPhone 13 because
I
that
don't
would be
know
awesome.
because the rumors are a portless phone. So
I was talking to Apple, bro. Don't listen to the people. I was
I
talking
think
to corporate because I got into an argument with somebody and they called me from Cupertino. And I was like, look, I know I'm not a big content creator. You guys already know my channel. I only got like 400 and something subs. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not messing with no portless phone. Because how about if it freezes on me? How am I supposed to unfreeze it if I gotta plug it up to the computer? And he was like, yeah, no, portless is not. Don't listen to the rumors. Portless is not in our thoughts to there's to damn. See, I hate being dyslexic because I get stuck. Till the day that we could set up a wireless connection that'll be as fast as a USB connection directly to your computer. Till that day, no portless for us.
see, I think Apple would need to convince other companies, and they would have to set up a standard just like Qi charging is, because the problem is they could do wireless if you have other Apple devices, because AirDrop and things like that you can do, and like you can sync your phone to
Mhm.
your computer through iTunes. But what happens if you have like Linux or Windows machine? I feel like they get sued because those companies would be like, your phone doesn't work with our. But if you're hardwired, you can transfer your photos, you can do
Correct.
whatever
Yeah, you're 100% correct
to
about that.
any.
So that's another issue Tech for your needs that he
true.
was explaining. They could sue for that. They're already suing Apple, remember, over an app that Apple didn't that wanted more royalties because it is their platform. I think it was Fortnite. Yeah, they're in a
Yeah.
big lawsuit with Fortnite on the iPhone on
Yeah, but
iOS.
I think Fortnite did it wrong in the aspect because if you were Apple, no matter what, if you're paying like 30% or more, it's cool. But look how many people's coming to your game.
Mhm.
Apple brings the
Correct.
people. So the more people's gonna
They're
eat
just
into
being
more
greedy.
money. Yeah,
They're
they're being
being
greedy.
greedy, Tech Pennies. They're being greedy, bro. Because they already make, man, you know how many times my son, Dad, can you give me your credit card number again? I want to buy a new skin. All right, you better not leave it on that phone or on your PlayStation. So you know what I did this time? I went to 7-Eleven and bought the $25 gift card for Fortnite. And I took pictures of it and told his mom, here, show them the picture and have them put in the code in the PlayStation. Yeah, man, because it's crazy. So they're making
And
mad money, bro.
and
So
Apple, I mean,
go ahead.
every like the thing is, Google Play Store, Samsung's store, they all
Mhm.
charge that 30%
Mhm.
or a lower percentage for some developers. So then Apple just basically, the whole 15% thing that they changed to now, that's not really anything new. It's just they made it so more people qualified for the lower percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for the smaller ones because Fortnite's complaint was 30% is more of a hit for smaller developers than it is for bigger developers. Because if you think about it, 30% of 100,000 is much larger hit on a company that needs that more money for their budget than 30% on 100 million. Because you're already talking about a huge company. I mean, it's still 30%. So that was their push. So then Apple said, well, if you make under, I think it's like 499,999 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then this is, but if you're above that, then it's an increased, and we'll see.
Yeah, because you got to think about it this way, though. If I owned a company, right? Say if I was an owner of a company, I want my royalties. You're getting customers. You're getting my customers that are carrying around my hardware, and then you want to pay me less when I'm. That's like the YouTube platform. They gave us this platform. It's our choice to succeed. It's our choice to, do what the best we can do to get money out of it. If we eventually want to get money out of it, we can't really complain no more. No, not too much because it's basically free. Now, I understand for them it's not free because they're making way more money than us. Yo, Fortnite, bro, they're worth around 1 billion right now or more.
Mhm.
So how the hell they're gonna complain about 30% when you're making hella money, bro?
I mean, can you imagine, like, let's say, I don't know, you make chocolate cake for a living, like you make
Mhm.
cake mixes, and you become this company and you go, I want to sell this at Meijer or Walmart or whatever,
Mhm.
some big store, right? And you go to them, they say, okay. Can you imagine if you said, but you're gonna do it without, and you're gonna sell it at, and you're not gonna put anything on top of it, and you're gonna give me all the money? They're gonna be like, get
Mhm.
out of here. It's the same thing. The app
Yes,
stores are the same thing. They are
yes.
providing a platform for you that you might not have and access to the,
Millions.
hundreds of millions of
Mhm.
devices. And now with the new M1 chip where they can just enable for the apps to function on that, it's all of the Macs that people are going to buy starting
Mhm.
now and on. It's iPhones and iPad, and it's literally a click of a button. If you're a developer, if you want your iPhone app to work on an iPad and a Mac, you just turn it on. They
Wow.
made it
I didn't
so
even know that.
easy. Really, they made it so much easier. Yeah, you got to adjust some things, but it will give you suggestions like, oh, this is how you can take advantage of, or it will auto do it for you. But they have that access, and then to say, oh, but you can't take anything
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
because you
And
know what it is. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the complaint is they're saying, oh, but we want to be able to charge like $6.99 if people buy it through, if people like, we want to be able to provide a free app and then say go to our website and pay $6.99, and then if you pay for it through Apple, stack the 30% on top of it and say it's going to cost $9.99 there, and Apple says, well, you can't do that, you got to charge the same price everywhere. And I get that, because then that's what everybody would do. They'd make a free app and they'd say you can sign up for an account online. But you can do that. You just can't do it the way people want to do it. You just can't
Yeah, you
charge it a
can't
price and
undercut
try to like
Apple.
undercut.
Yeah, or Android.
But if you think about it, if you're selling something on Apple, say any company, you got the traffic, like you said earlier, you got thousands of millions compared to Android. You know what I mean? So there you got the traffic. Free people, you don't have to work as much hard as too much on the advertising.
And from what I've heard, Apple's gonna say to you, like when they've done in the past, where they say, "Oh, you have to update your app to support this if you want to support the newer hardware, or it has to support at least this version of iOS now." They let
Mhm.
people know, where I've heard let people that develop for both like iOS and Android, um, have like had their app removed from the Google Play Store because they weren't notified that they needed to update the app to support like Android 9 or further, and whatever it is. And so they got kicked out because they weren't told. Apple just sends something out to everybody like, hey, and it's easy as like making sure that it just runs well. And I don't know.
No,
That's true.
Everybody does it. It's just people complain because Apple's huge. I mean, they're the most profitable of the tech companies.
Yeah, they are.
But you know what? You don't have to
just
sell
tell me
your
how much I'm
app
keeping this phone.
to them. You don't have to sell your app to them. That's what you have to remember. You don't have to. There's other places you can go. And it's not like Apple says, well, you can't sell your app on an Android device if you sell it on ours, because that would be antitrust and that would be.
Mhm.
You don't have to. You can go somewhere else. You can make your money somewhere else, or you can say, you know what, I want my app to be viewed by, 500 million people or whatever it is, and put it out there. And you could sell it. Think about that. If you sold an app for 99 cents to like 1% of people that have iPhones, you'd be an instant millionaire.
Or like the dude, remember that app? But he took it down because the brother killed the brother over it last year. I think it was, or the year before. Damn, what's the name of the app with the bird? Remember the bird?
Happy Bird.
Floppy Bird.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that happened in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, bro, or somewhere in Massachusetts. That the older boy got mad because his little brother beat him and then stabbed him to death.
I heard
while he was
about that.
sleeping.
I
Yeah,
heard something like that, but I'm not sure.
it was
where.
over Floppy Bird.
Wow.
Bro, that game used to piss me off, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be mad as shit trying to play that game, bro.
You know what happened with the originator? He said that he quit because he was getting too much. He got rich overnight, but he was getting too much requests, and he couldn't do it because it was by himself. Updating and do everything. So it was like, it's too much. I can't do it. So he decided to stop. Continue supporting the app. He came out all over the news.
I wonder
Yeah.
how many people do that. Like they come up with some brilliant idea that they know will be an overnight hit, but it will be short lived, and they put the app out, and then you get like tens of millions of people downloading it or whatever. They make their money, they become a millionaire, and then they just sort of like forget about it, and then they just like leave. They're like, I got my money, and they're gone. Because I imagine that an Apple wouldn't let them develop ever again. But what do they care? Like, can you imagine? Like, think about that. If you develop some app, you put it on the App Store for 99 cents. So you walk away with like your 69 cents for every version, and that thing sells, and you get like 50 million downloads on it. You're talking about like, let's see, was that?
Ching ching.
You're talking about like $40 million right there, even if you take your taxes away. And then you could take that and just develop something else. You could take that and invest that like in Bitcoin or something, and just
that's serious. That's the best thing to do. I would seriously invest. Since I eat so much at McDonald's, I'll get some McDonald's stocks. I would get some McDonald's stocks, some Apple stocks, some Tesla stocks. They're doing good right now because my friends do a lot of investing on Wall Street.
Check this out. You were talking about Tesla. We got a Tesla across the street from the Apple store in the mall. Yeah, so basically, if I walk normally, I'll be 12 minutes in the Apple store. I'm not far from it.
I got so mad when I saw that Bitcoin went over 20,000 the other day, and was just thinking back to when I was like in my second year of college in 2010, and this guy offered me $10 worth of Bitcoin. Do you know how much that would have been worth today? Bitcoin was selling at 0.03. That was 3,333 Bitcoin back then at $20,000 a piece. That's $6.6 million today. Dang! Wow. Like if I had bought that, I could have sold it. I could have sold half of it and still been like. But nobody knew what it was. Nobody really cared. They're like, "What's this? It's not going to last." That's why it wasn't worth very much. But then, in like a year later. That was
they even got the Bitcoin credit cards now.
That was worth 100 times as much a year later. And then like a year after that, it went up again. Like those first few years were
I
huge
know
increases.
you were hating yourself at the time when you seen that.
And then
I said,
I'm
"Got
hating
it."
myself today because I'm thinking where I'd be sitting if I.
But you know what's weird?
Yeah.
I'm changing the subject a little bit. There's some product that people criticize. Perfect example, AirPods. And then after certain years, they become a mainstream and famous. Because at the beginning, I used to say they're ugly, and then I bought them. You know what I mean? When they got popular. So,
I mean, I hated the iPhone in the first. You know, I hated the first iPhone, the second iPhone, and then I got the four.
oh yeah, the 4 was good. I
So
just
the
tell you the
fourth generation was when I became an Apple fanatic. Before that, I hated Apple. I used to tell my friends, "Them fools are ugly, bro. My Galaxy looks way better than your piece of crap iPhone."
You
Well, I
should
used to I used to make fun of people because they would have boring operating system, no customization. I used to laugh.
Mhm.
And then when I became an Apple user, iPhone 7, that's when I started liking it because I like the ease of use and everything works. So I don't think
Mhm.
I'm crazy. But I think I'm gonna end up the live stream over here because we've been going long enough. And if you want to shout out your channel names, go ahead. One of y'all could start.
I guess I'll go. All
Okay.
right, mine's is Rel TRG Tech Real G, and I'm gonna do. I mean, I got speed testing right now on AT&T and Metro by T-Mobile 5G speed testing, and also I will be doing my review on my Pixel and iPhone coming up pretty soon on the channel.
Did he froze? Oh.
No, I was reading what you put up there.
Oh, my bad.
So, well, my channel is my name right there, right down here.
Mhm.
And I also have a second channel that's Michael Pepper Tech Live. I have both those in Twitter, and that is Michael Pepper Tech Dash Live because how Twitter will only let you do like 3 names or whatever. So I had to do it that way. So I kept it in sync. I also have a Michael Pepper Photography Instagram. I have I think that's it. So the 2 YouTube, the 2 Twitter, and the Instagram. Yep. Oh, and I have a Michael Pepper Tech Facebook page too. So for people that don't do Twitter that want to get in touch with me, they can go on Facebook and do it. And I always post whenever I post videos, I try to put them on there or on Twitter. And
Well, you know where to find the same name. The only 2 social media that I use is Instagram and Twitter.
Mhm.
And thanks for coming in and subscribe. And I'll pick up a live stream next year when it starts because I'm taking a break. I'm spending time with the family. Thanks for coming for the panels. I'll put your channel links in the bottom. With that said, love and peace. Peace out and have a nice night. We'll talk later. And this time I won't forget to end it.
uh-oh,
All
he
right,
did it
guys.
again. He did it
Yeah.
again. He just said he wouldn't forget to end it, and then he dropped out and left us live.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So funny.